Hi guys, so for this week's video I felt like doing something kind of different and just sitting down with y'all and having a little conversation. So yeah, I have my little black book here and I have some like pointers on like what is a conversation starters that I want to like get into. Like it's not a lot, it's just like small simple things that I feel like a lot of people don't pay attention to, or it's like we don't take the time to actually sit down and have these conversations and like think about everything. So yeah, today we're gonna be having a little chit chat, you know, some girl time. I have my coffee with me. So yeah, we're gonna sip on some coffee, talk about some life stuff. So all y'all grab a coffee, grab a snack, let's have a chit chat. And yeah, let's get right into it. Okay, so the first thing I want to talk about is like reflecting on the year, because we all know 2022 anything but simple. It was a hectic year for everyone, especially for like students. I'm not gonna lie, as a student myself, last year was just a lot. Like everything post-pandemic was just crazy. Like learning curves, a bunch of learning curves happened, a bunch of like personal growth had to happen like individually for everyone. And I feel like that's something that like I'm not sure if we pay attention to, or it's like we take the time to actually sit down and have these conversations. Because I know like there were times where like I'd be talking to my friends and stuff, and sometimes like you're not feeling as well, like you're unsure about everything because there was so much uncertainty in the world. But yeah, there's a lot of stuff that happened, and so specifically I want to focus on like reflecting on the school year, like uni life. Like let me just let y'all know, my uni journey has not been the easiest. And I feel like there's a lot of people out there who might have similar like experiences as me, or like maybe like uncertain or going through something similar. So yeah, let me just get into it for a little bit. My uni life, to tell y'all, I'm in second year currently. My major is organizational psychology. I'm a BA major. But let me tell you, it wasn't easy getting here, because I feel like we don't have the conversation of like post high school going into uni. I was the type of person my entire high school career, I had like not like, I wasn't certain on what I wanted to do in university. Like I knew I wanted to do something related to business because I'm very like business conscious. Like I want to have my own business one day, so like that was like my main basis for university. And I feel like also like living overseas and growing up overseas, it was just like a bunch of different influences that I was getting. So I was like, no, obviously I want to do business. I like it, I enjoy it. So even my subjects at school, I was taking like business related things. I was really enjoying economics. There was a point where not last year, like the year before, I chose economics as my major. And I was just like, I realized real quick that was not for me. And so I feel like this whole idea of like having your ideas set and having your career set on what you want to do in high school, like yeah, some people like knew like straight off the bat. Like my sister, she knew like primary school, middle school that she wanted to be a doctor. Me, guys, I was switching up careers. At first I wanted to be a singer, I wanted to be an actor, I wanted to be a businesswoman. I just did like a lot of things and I wasn't sure like what I actually wanted to end up doing. But yeah, I eventually got into org psych, and that also was just like random because my friend Manuela was actually taking the subject, and like I met her during our Spanish class. So I obviously started off university in Cape Town, mind you. I first started in Stellenbosch doing like a BCom major in like business management. I realized real quick that was not for me. There was like a bunch of subjects, like prerequisite that were like you had to be able to do that, not one, I've never learned in high school, and all this stuff was based off like South African high school education system. And so it was just like I felt like I was just playing catch up, like constantly just catching up. And like I'd be getting like tutoring sessions, I'd be asking my friends in Stellenbosch to help me out, and like I just realized it wasn't for me. So I was talking to my parents, and keep in mind this was a time where my parents weren't even living in the country. Like I graduated high school, flew to South Africa like by myself, had to like start schooling by myself in a different city. Like my entire family's on one side of the country and I'm going to school in a different side of the country. My parents are overseas, like 12 hours away. Like it's not even like, it was a lot. So yeah, I feel like that also like compensated to me like not feeling as well. So I was talking to my parents, took a break. I decided to take a gap year, and in that gap year, pandemic. So already it was just like a lot going on, and I feel like during that pandemic time I was like starting to like understand myself, like really recognize like what I like, what my interests are, because I was like, okay, this thing that I want to study, like it's not corroborating, like it's not like correlating with like, I know I'm smart, but the stuff that I'm doing here is making me feel stupid. So it's just like trying to understand myself, my interests. But yeah, I feel like that gap year taught me a lot, and that's when I recognized that I was going to go to UCT. Decided to just completely restart, different university, different degree, different like what is it called, faculty. So yeah, I joined the humanities faculty, and then I was doing economics, and so I was double majoring in economics and Spanish. And yeah, like I enjoyed it because I did economics in high school, so I was like, yeah, no, a bunch of the stuff is like similar, like I was understanding it. But there came a point where I was like, I'm not sure like if I want to like study this for 3 years and then go into economics like in the future. So I had this conversation with my parents yet again, and they're like, no, they're understanding, because I feel like when you talk to people and like they recognize like, no, like I like this, but it's not easy for me, I'll be putting all of my energy and time into this, but the results I'm getting aren't what I want. Like, you know when you expect an 80 and then you get a 60 and you're like, but why? Like I put in the time and effort to get an 80, but I got a 60. That's like how I was feeling. So I feel like I was just like burning myself out, and I was like, it's only the first semester, I still have another 2.5 years of this. So I was just like, this is a lot. So then this is when I started talking to my friends, right? And Manuela was saying she was doing organizational psychology at the time. So yeah, like she was explaining everything. She was like, it's business minded, but you look more like into the people orientated like business section. And I was like, yeah, no, this is interesting. So like I was like asking her stuff. I kept doing economics, but in the back of my mind I was like, no, this sounds more like what I wanted to do. So kudos to Manuela, because I feel like having her next to me and like being able to ask her questions, like she was always like this person who's like, you can come to me for anything, like you can talk to me. So I feel like that was like a certain point where I was like, this is actually what I want to study. Like after doing some research and stuff and like looking at the course outlines for it, I was like, no, this is actually something I'm interested in. And that's how I got into org psych last year. I changed degrees. I had like the entire like session to go to like an academic advisor discussing my options, and we figured out this was the best thing for me. And let me tell you, I've never been happier. Honestly, like I'm not as stressed, I'm not as like spending so much time on a major that's like I think I like, but it's like not happening for me. So yeah, I feel like that decision of changing majors, yes, given it's my 3rd time, but you know what they say, 3rd time is the charm. So yeah, I feel like it really helped me, because now it's like I was spending time and effort into something I'm interested in, and something I know in the future is gonna help me achieve whatever goal I want. So that's like cherry on top. But yeah, that's pretty much everything I wanted to talk about school related, because like uni, guys, isn't easy, especially during COVID times. Because like, can you imagine, like I finally found a degree I liked, and then it's like half of the time we're on campus, half the time we're doing things online. So it's just like a learning curve, like learning everything for the first time. But I feel like what's nicer now that I'm in my 2nd year and I fully like adjusted into it is like, one, I finished my Spanish major last year, which was great. And then now like for this next like 2 years now, I only have to focus on org psych. And I feel like that's also given me a chance to like look at my other like likes and dislikes. So it's like I'm doing all my courses for org psych, but now I can actually like take electives that I like and like not feel like I don't have time for those things. So like right now I'm taking like ancient mythologies. Like I'm interested in that since I was younger, but now I have the opportunity to actually do my major and take a subject that I'm interested in. So I feel like that's what comes down to it, like personal growth, reflecting on yourself, recognizing what it is that you like, what you don't like. And if something's not for you, it's not for you, honestly. No matter how like challenging anything can be, as long as like you're feeling like you're being physically, emotionally, and mentally drained, move on. I think that's what I've learned during like this post-pandemic era, because it's like the more you focus on yourself, the more you realize what you want in life, what you don't want, and like what you want your life to look like. And so I feel like that like self-introspection and like recognizing actually helps so much. And I feel like it's something we don't talk about, or it's like we don't consider like in high regard. But yeah, I'm growing, y'all. I'm growing. And I feel like uni, what made it easier is because like the majority of my friends now are like international people. Like we all grew up overseas, so it's like you're finding your group of people that like one understands you. So it's like when you're talking about something, you have something to relate to, and you don't feel like this person doesn't understand where you're coming from. Like they do. And so I feel like that's why it's also like surrounding yourself with people that know and understands you is actually pretty good. Because yeah, your family knows you and everything, but sometimes it's not easy talking to your family. And so having a group of friends that you know you can count on and who support you like wholeheartedly and won't judge you is also something I feel like is really important. But yeah, especially like living alone. Now when we get to living alone, this was my first time ever in my life living by myself, completely by myself. Like I don't even live in like university res, I live in an apartment. So I'm literally by myself. I cook for myself, I clean for myself, I shop for myself. I literally do everything on my own. This is called full-on adulting right now. But yeah, there's so many pros and cons. Like I came into it, like I wasn't scared per se to live alone. I feel like I was more so excited about this like new journey, like new perspective that I was going to get. Because I feel like now I was at a point where it's like I was more comfortable with myself. And so I felt like, no, I could actually do this and I won't feel horrible. I think that also taught me a lot just by living by myself, because I feel like there's so many pros. Like, yeah, sometimes like you'll be feeling lonely, but I was listening to this podcast by Ava Jules. It's called the On My Mind podcast. And she was saying how when she moved out of her parents' house, like the thing that helped her not feel as lonely is just having like noise in the background. And so it's like I always have like a podcast going, or like I'll be listening to music while I'm doing things. I pretty much like live off of YouTube and Netflix. So it's like I'm always doing something, and it's like surrounding yourself in a space where it's not constantly just silence. I feel like that also helps you in like this new stage, because especially like moving from like being surrounded by people 24/7 and then all of a sudden you're living on your own, like it's just like a huge shock to the system. So I feel like you need to find ways to adjust and make yourself feel good. But I feel like for me it wasn't as bad, because like I feel like I'm pretty much okay by myself. Like I'm really self-sufficient, I'm not gonna lie. As long as I got a good book, got some coffee on me, got my phone, I'm pretty much set. So yeah, I feel like there are more pros to living alone for me than cons, because I'm like, I can do things on my own time, I can do whatever I want on my own time. And I feel like that was something good for me, because like growing up you have to learn to be like manage everything yourself, because there's gonna come a time where you don't live with your parents anymore. Your parents don't do anything for you, and thereby finances, guys, I've learned so much. Thereby budgeting, budget conscious me. My friends and family growing up, they're always like, I'm the frugal person, I'm the stingy person. Listen, that has helped me living alone. I'm not out here buying things that are hella expensive just for the looks and the vibes. I'm here buying the cheap things that are practical and will last me a long time. Because why must I be spending money on useless things? But yeah, budget conscious. And I feel like that's something my parents like instilled in like me and my sister growing up. Like we always have like piggy banks and stuff. So it's like whatever money you get, you like put aside for something that you know you're gonna need. And then whatever else is there, you can spend it. But like, don't be like spending all your money in like day one. I think that's what I've learned, like living alone. Like the way you like budget and the way you buy things and the way you spend is not the same as when you're at home and your parents be like, can I have money for this? Can I have money for this? And they're like, here, here, here. Now everything's like, if you want something, it's on you. If you want to buy something, it's on you. You gotta like think now, if I buy this now, in the future, this is what I'm not gonna have. Or if I do this, I'm not gonna be able to do this in the future. So I feel like there's a lot of like growing mentally, because like you're switching your whole dynamic from like relying on your parents to now you're relying on yourself. And I think that also helps in your own personal growth, because then you get to understand yourself more. You learn more about yourself, and you just learn everything that's important to you and what isn't important to you. So yeah, that's pretty much what I've learned living on my own. I'm not gonna lie, I've been living on my own now for, it's February right now, so like a whole year pretty much, because I moved here, like I got my apartment last year, February, so it's literally been an entire year of me being by myself, and I'm not gonna lie, it's been great. Like, I feel like I've learned so much about myself. I'm more comfortable with myself. I'm more comfortable being alone, something I'm actually like interested in. And like, yeah, I never feel like lonely per se, because I always like make myself do things or like go around, like, even like looking around like my area here, like that's something that like I'm interested in, because it's like sometimes you just gotta like take yourself out of like your comfort zone and just do things on your own, and like in the future, like, you know, it's gonna benefit you anyways. But yeah, I feel like that's everything I'm going to talk about, and just everything that's important. I feel like I mentioned a bunch of great things, because let me tell y'all guys, school isn't easy. Everyone has to do things at their own pace. Everyone is different in what they do and what they like. Look at me, I've changed degrees 3 times. I finally found something that I like. I took a break at some point in between just to like figure out what it is that I wanted. I've pretty much went from like living with a bunch of people to living by myself, doing some major personal growth, honestly, and just learning to understand myself more and understand what's more important to me and what isn't important. So yeah, I highly recommend introspection. Like, regardless of whether or not you're living alone, whatever phase you are in life, as long as you like focus on yourself and recognize what it is that you want and like what it is that like you're enjoying, like constantly be doing things that make you happy, constantly do things that like boost your energy and just make you feel good, because honestly that's the most important thing in life, is just like making sure you're doing something that you're enjoying that brings you happiness, because like if you're not doing something you enjoy, why are you doing it? But yeah, I feel like that's everything I want to talk about, and I hope you guys like got some tips and tricks. If not, I hope you guys got an idea to just like focus more on yourself. Like, honestly, take yourself more seriously, because I mean, you only have yourself after all in life. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this little chit chat session. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel, leave a like, comment down below, and I'll catch y'all soon with another video. Bye.